Hi, this is Mollie Sanford. This is going to be my second video. So in this video, I'm going to show you how you can use Pear Deck with Google Slides. It's another form of assessment tool you can use in your classroom, or you might just use it to help engage instruction. Let me share my screen with everybody. Okay, so first thing you want to do is pick out which Google slide or PowerPoint you want to use. If you don't have Google Slides, you can just use your PowerPoint, but you do have to convert it to Google Slides and upload it to your drive. I'm sure many of you already know how to do this. So I've got this is a food safety and nutrition, the Unit 1 personal health and hygiene Google Slides I made for my class. So after you get it pulled up, you want to go to add-ons and get the add-on, and the add-on is called Pear Deck. It's right here. It's, I think, the most popular one, so it pops up right there. But if it's not, you can just type in Pear Deck, and there it is. And I already have it installed, but you would just click this install button here. And I'm going to go with you through this on how mine is set up, and then we can take a look at how you would set yours up. So after I have mine already added on, you'll go to add-on, and there's my Pear Deck add-on already there. Let me go back to that, and you'll open it up like this. And we're going to start the lesson. So once you click start lesson, you'll be prompted with two different ways to do this. You may want to do the student paced activity, and this is suggested for if students are on their own. So if you have a virtual student at home and you're not with them one-on-one, or maybe if you have a sub that day and you want them to work on it while you're not there, individualized. This is more the student pace for individualized. Instructor pace, that is if you are with the students in person or virtual. You might be zoomed with them at home, and then also teaching the same thing to their peers in class. So this is more for you to use in the classroom. So I'm going to click instructor pace. I go through all these permissions. No, I do not want to get premium. We want the free stuff. Okay, so you have your students in class or virtual, so you're going to want them to join. You might give them a link through email or Google Classroom, or you might have them click joinpd.com, and then there's the code, kind of like Kahoot a little bit. So that's how they would join. And I'm going to get off this. And it's waiting for students. And I'm going to have to join as a student from my phone for this to work. And I think if you're watching this and you're trying to do this, it's probably not going to work, because I've already pre-recorded this probably a few weeks in advance before you're actually seeing this. And I'm going to show you what I see on my phone real quick. So I typed in joinpd.com on my phone, and it's prompting me for the little code. So I'm going to type that code in. QMHIDI. And it says my first student is connected. and I'm going to start my class. So right now I'm teaching, introducing, just pretend this new unit of study, and I'm going to go to my next slide. So this might be one of your beginner questions. It could be a bell ringer you could put here, and I'm asking, what do you wonder about the topic? So let's go back to the topic. The topic was personal health and hygiene. So I'm asking my students, what do I wonder about today's topic? Sorry if my lights go out. And they will get to type their answer on their screen. And since I am my own student, I'm doing this on my phone. And right here, you'll see it says 1 of 1 responses. And now I can show my responses if I want to. Great. That's the responses I got from my students, which is me. Hide my responses. You don't have to do this. You can just keep going through if you want to, if you don't want to show everybody's responses. I'll go to my next one. Here's my vocab. I'm teaching my vocab, going through it with them before I start anything else. Whoops. Then we'll go to my first performance indicator. And then I'll teach this to them. And this. And that. And then hand washing steps to them. And that'll take a good amount of time in class. And here's my next question I'm asking them. Do you wash your hands after you use the bathroom each time? Be honest. You'll be surprised what you get. And this is what they see on your screen. And it's telling them to drag the dot. So they will drag the dot on their screen, and I can give them, I've got one person responded, which is me. I can show it to the class, and they can all see how they all answered honestly. And you'll see if it's multiple people in class, there'll be more than one dot over here or over here. You might get some that put them in the middle. We'll go to the next one. And as I'm going through this, I'm also seeing this on my screen too. So if your kids are on Chromebooks or their phone or a laptop, they'll also see the same presentation, not only on your smart board or whatever board you use to present. If I can make my light camera on, you'll see on my student's phone, you're seeing the same thing as what you're projecting. And we'll go through this. Why should I wash my hands? And I put in this one, I have brain breaks in it. So this is not part of Pear Deck. This is different links I put into my Google class or into my Google Slides. Sometimes I'll put brain breaks in there. But that's a whole different story. So I'm gonna go past my brain break and go to my next standard and teach that about gloves. When to change gloves. Okay, draw and label a chef with good personal hygiene and a chef with bad personal hygiene. So this is fun. They get to draw, and I'm probably gonna be terrible with this because I'm doing it on my phone. And I'm just going to draw real quick little stick people. And I think I'm done. So you'll see right here, 1 of 1 responses, and let's see my artwork. So here's my good chef, and then there's my bad chef because they've got their hair long and down and not pulled back. And yeah, I don't really know what I was going for here. Here's my next one, more about bandages. break rooms, gum. There's another brain break I put in there. And I don't do brain breaks with every PowerPoint I do. It just depends. More standards. You go through and teach. There's another brain break. More. Okay, here's another thing with Pear Deck. Drag your dot to how you're feeling about this new content you've learned. So they could drag to keep going, confused, stop, I need help. You might need to go back and reteach something or answer questions and explain things better to them. And my phone is going very slow, so it's taking me a while to answer these questions. And so I put my dot here. But if you do this with your class, and you might have a group of dots over here in the red or in the yellow. Okay, summarize what you've just learned. So this is like an exit ticket you could use where they would type their responses. And I'm just doing a quick answer. And you would show your responses and see everything, and I just put all about hygiene. And that was the, okay, so I'm going to do this in the other type of mode. So back to add-ons and open up the Pear Deck add-on. Now it's loading. So I'm going to do this as the student-paced one, as if they were doing this on their own at home for homework, or they're virtual, or you might have a sub, or maybe you just want them to do it as an assignment while you do something else in class. No, we don't want to pay for premium. So again, it's going to ask them to join. You can give them the link through Google Classroom. And I'm going to go ahead and paste this link. And they do, so this is what the student is going to be viewing on their own. Ask them, how are they feeling today? It always says that. So this is an icebreaker I used at the beginning of the school year with my students this year. And I had them do it in this mode, the student pace mode in Google Classroom, after I went over my syllabus and things like that. And this was just some fun questions to ask. No go. On a standard traffic light, is the green, is like green at the top or the bottom? And then they can answer here, bottom. And then after they type it, then they'll click the arrow and then they'll get the answer, bottom. And that's just how this one is set up. They, depending on how you set up your Pear Deck presentation. How many states are there? Yes, some people don't know. So what if I put 45? Next. And then they still get the answer 50. So that's about how the student pace mode would be. So let's get out of that. Okay, so how do you go about setting this up? Well, first you want to find your PowerPoint you want to cover. So let's just grab a random one that I have not set up with Pear Deck. Let's do Foods Unit 2 since we did Foods Unit 1 already. And I'll put these in the Google Doc, these as resources if you want to go back and look at kind of how I set them up, or just to give you an idea of where to start. Okay, I think this is what we're looking for. So this one, food safety nutrition, standard 2, is all about foodborne illnesses. Sorry, I keep getting interrupted because I'm at school trying to do this. So back to how to make your own Pear Deck. So you would go to the add-ons and Pear Deck, open the Pear Deck add-on. Minimize my little face. Okay, so we want to make our own lesson using Pear Deck. So I like to use the template library that they have. So I don't have to, but you can go through here and customize your own, draw, draggable, text, ask them a question, multiple choice, there's some numbers, or send them to a website. You can add on some audio too if you want to record yourself teaching your PowerPoint lesson or Google Slides lesson and add it to it to play throughout it. I don't do this because I don't have time. I'm just going to teach it that one time. So I'm going to go to our template library. So, and it's got some already built. So beginning of the lesson is good for do nows and bell ringers. And I've got my bell ringer on here, and I have just had them write it on paper usually. And then after that, they take a pretest over what we're going to cover. But if I wanted to add it in Pear Deck, I like this one. I might add as kind of a instructional thing. I could have on the board before they come in. So the instructions: find your seat, get out your device, and then in Pear Deck, here's my question: what happens if you get food poisoning? So I would put it right here. And this is something good for them to do because I'll be in the hallway sometimes, or I'll have to run to the restroom. And they can answer that as their Pear Deck bell ringer. Then next, of course, I have my vocab. So I found this vocabulary activity using Pear Deck, and it was under world languages, which makes sense because they're teaching languages, so they probably have a lot of vocab stuff here. This was a matching one I want to use, but for this one, I am going to do this one. It's called Flashcard Factory. So after we talk about the vocab words and they write them down on their guided note packet, they would go to this for the Flashcard Factory. So there's this link down here to build it for the instructors. Get started. Not right now. Create a vocab list right here. And it's going to take you to this right here. And you're going to have to type in every word and definition you want them to cover. You can copy and paste, and I actually already did this right here for this unit. So I'm going to get off of this, and I'm going to name this my, let's just title vocab list. Not let me rename it right now. And play the Flashcard Factory. So make sure your browser window is visible on the classroom projector. So smart board, smart TV, whatever you're using. Okay, let's pretend I see it on my projector. This is what I'm asking the students to do. So I'm gonna do it on my own device. So join pd.com. I'm gonna enter the code FRNQNR. And pick my account. So my name is going to pop up because I have a school account and personal account, so it's going to show that name. So if you're using school Gmail accounts, you have them use that. Don't let them use their personal one because you might get, you don't know what name's going to pop up. Okay. So it says I have one student arrived. Are you ready to start? And I'm going to clock in. So you're going to get a day shift group of students and a night shift group of students, but because it's just me on here playing, it's only going to show me on the night shift. You can shuffle your teams, but it's just wanting me to stay on the night shift for some reason. So it's going to be a team exercise. So let's play. Here's all my words right here. So welcome to the factory. Students are now working on their flashcards to move to quality control when you feel you have enough cards to review. That's a quality control. That's a safe term, which is why I like it for this one. So I'm going to pull up so for a few minutes, give me a second so I can do this on my phone so you can see it on there. And I would probably give my students more time than what I'm doing, and I'm not doing a great job on here, but I just wanted to give you an example. Okay, there goes my little shipment right there. I'm just going to do a couple. And when you have multiple teams, you're going to have multiple shipments. All right, I think I'm just going to do 3. And obviously the night shift is going to win. Okay, so after you feel like you have enough shipments, so they've done 3 of 20 terms. When you reach your 20 of 20 terms with your class, then you might want to go to the quality control phase. So on their screen, they had you draw the foodborne illness outbreak and then talk about it in a sentence and describe it. So this is my stick person throwing up because of a foodborne illness outbreak. And I said, I ate at McDonald's with the fam and we threw up. So you can accept that or you can reject it. So let's say I accept it. Immune system was the word. So I drew a healthy person with strong muscles and put not sick for my example. So if you reject it, you can hit the X and it won't go through. Time, temperature, abuse. I drew some milk and the sun shining and it's out at room temperature. Milk got chunky at room temp for 5 hours. So let's say I accepted it. And then we have a set and we can print the set we made for study guide, or we can export it to Gym Kit, which is something I think Mary Smith might show you how to use, which is another gaming tool. But that's just one of the Pear Deck things you can do. So I'm going to go back to here for some other things we can add to our Pear Deck. Exit out of this. Okay, so that might be our day of vocab things we do. So let's go back to some of the other templates. Let's say you cover, I don't know how many standards you typically cover in a day, or performance indicators. Let's say you talk about time, temperature, abuse, and foodborne illness on this one. And then you might want to add one of these. Let's see, during the lesson, you might have them summarize what they just learned. By adding that in there, you could ask them a true false question. Remember this little drag in the dot from before. They can do some mind maps, and this is all like a group thing. Another dragables. You could just put in a stretch break. So if you're not doing a brain break, you just put in a stretch break instead. You can customize the questions to here. This one just says, do you feel comfortable sharing your thoughts aloud right now? And those were the during the lesson ones that you can go through. If you want to go to the end of your PowerPoint, wherever you end, I think mine ends. No, that's an activity I put in there. I think this was the last thing I put on here. You can do it end of the lesson. Connecting it to your own life question, Give them a minute to write the most important fact from the day. I don't cover a whole PowerPoint or Google Slide like this in one day either. This is like my unit, and I break it up, and we do something different every day, or I'll embed an activity in there. I've got my videos in here. Projects, this FBI Most Wanted project. So this is about a month's worth right here, for especially for the FBI, because that's really, this is a heavily tested component on the ServSafe test. Let's see, let's go back over here. You can have them draw some things like the good chef, bad chef. You can have more reflections, thumbs up, down. And that was the end of the lessons. Talking about critical thinking, I like these. This right here, I think would be perfect for food storage order, or if you teach Maslow's or anything else that with this pyramid shape. I think I'm going to add that into my Foundations of Teaching class somehow. You can do some I wonders. There's just lots of things. Let's go look at social and emotional part. I love this little bucket right here. I'm trying to think of ways how I can use that. And then they have it broken down by subject, but you know, you can connect every subject to facts. So remember I just showed you how to do world languages. There's some example questions with, if you're talking about different countries and food. Let's see, what are some things? These were for little kids, but that might be something fun to do if you have kids in Foundations of Teaching, have them make a Pear Deck lesson. I think that's something I'm going to do. Math. So if you're talking about kitchen math, or if you teach interior design, talking about floor plans and figuring square footage, or financial literacy components. Science, chemistry of foods, periodic table. So there's just all kinds of stuff in here already. There's some lab stuff in here too, in the science part, if I can find it yet. Materials for the lab, procedures. I think that'll be fun. And then I showed you word languages, so let me show you the ELA real quick. Comparing and contrasting different things for vocab would be good. If you're doing a book study with your class, you could do some understand reasoning, story maps. But anyways, I think Pear Deck is a really cool thing to use in the classroom. So I'm really trying to find new ways and different formats to embed in mine to have more of these types of lessons for next year. I would love to see some other people's. If you want to share, reach out. I'm going to put the Simpsons one in the examples, and then the other one I showed you, I'll just email me, since that one's aligned to ServSafe, and just let me know if you have your ServSafe one, and I'll just share that one directly to you.